because they have an underground hall.
And we also have a Chinese club who's the wonderful host and the mini board director, and they are here. And then we have a booster parent here. So today is a very special night. I know it's a Monday, everybody's very busy. So we really want to get program going. And I think one thing we really want to do today is take this opportunity to really showcase Huntington Middle School Orchestra. And we have a lot of people who make this happen. During the wonderful history of the Huntington Middle School, how it started, the documentary. So I won't say too much, but I do want the people to grab the seat and get a drink, whatever, and we can start quickly. And anybody know who is the one that behind the scene, the background music? Who played that? Anybody know? One of us here, who are the one play this music?
The guy in the blue shirt standing in the back?
Yes, our wonderful Huntington Middle School program director, our Mr. Foster. This is actually his own violin album, and the people willing to buy support Huntington Middle School, and he will donate all the money to our Huntington Middle School. So I know this is wonderful, very peaceful music. So you will see that on the table. So make sure everybody grab the seat, and we're going to start quickly. I do want to respect people who arrive on time, so we do need to do it, get going, and I know parents still on the way. First of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Ching Yan Qian. I'm the Vice Chair of the Huntington Middle School Booster Parent this year, and we have many people try to showcase the history of Huntington Middle School. And today we do have very important people who are instrumental behind all the Huntington Middle School. So I want to take this opportunity to invite all the wonderful VIP today. So first of all, I want to introduce Dr. McCracken, who is our former principal of the Huntington Middle School. Let's give a round of applause. He recently retired, and we're so honored that he retired. He still spending time come back. And later on in the documentary, you will hear something. He has something to say about our Huntington Middle School. And today, of course, we have a wonderful our school board chairman, Joseph Chen here, and his wife. And Josephine was really helpful and volunteered. So what can I help you? I said, help us invite the new principal of the high school. So he did it. Invite our Dr. Gates. And people wonder why we invite Dr. Gates. Because you know, once you middle school, what's your next step? High school. So he's our new principal. He of course didn't get a chance to watch our wonderful performance in the before. Since we have this opportunity, we really appreciate after the war you still spend time with us and leave your family at home. So truly appreciate that. Thank you. Give a round of applause to Dr. Gates. So of course, you know this is Chinese club. We're very lucky to have this free space for us with all the equipment, sound, and on the Monday night. So I do want to continue to spend time to introduce Chinese club. So let's welcome the Zhang Chu, the president of the Chinese club. And then of course, many of my board directors, they also the community members. So they are parents of Huntington Middle School, parents of Valentine Carver, also high school. So I have our high school parent, David, and also middle school parent, also Carver parent. Now you know how many kids he has. Then we have Tony. Tony also the graduate from the Marino High before. We have Alan, have the parent of the Carver and the middle school, Ellen Chen. And we have our where? Oh, the Zhang Chao who's walking in, and also the parent of the Valentine, and in the future of go to Huntington Middle School, and he is also the graduate of the San Marino High School. So you see, we all related to all four schools. And we also have our new board director who's incoming for 2018. We have April here. It's also Huntington Middle School High School parent, and Jenny Zhang, and also the middle school parent. And I play the multiple role. I also the Chinese club board director, also the parent of the booster. So we really want to thank and then have John say a few words.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Chinese Club of San Marino. And thank you very much, Ching Yan, for making all the introductions, so that saves me a little bit of work. But I just wanted to say a few words about the Huntington Middle School Orchestra. The Chinese Club is very happy and proud in the past to have supported and continue to support the orchestra, besides our donation to help with the club on a fiscal basis. But the orchestra has also been very gracious in performing at our MAF. And so we want to thank Rob and all the work that you put in. They always do such a great job. I always hear a lot of great compliments from our guests and asking, where did you find these kids? They're so talented. Did you guys have to pay an arm and a leg to bring them here? And I said, no, this is from our middle school. I said, wow, this is amazing. And so thank you very much for your support over the years. I did have the privilege of watching the documentary a few weeks ago. And so you're in for quite a treat. You're going to be amazed at how talented these kids are. I would ask that, for you to keep one thing in mind, that these kids are 13 and 14-year-olds, 7th and 8th graders, and how quickly they learn to master the instruments, the passion that they demonstrate, the dedication, the amount of work. And most importantly, I would also like to recognize the boosters, the parents. Jeanette, well, I don't know all the names, but the boosters, please stand or raise your hand to show that, you guys are also very instrumental in the support of the Huntington Middle School Orchestra. And of course, we hope that we can continue that into the high school. So thank you all very much for being here this evening.
So actually, John did a good segue for me to quickly showcase our booster parent. Actually, I would like to invite all the boosters come to the stage. We can take a good picture. Let's invite the chair, Jeanette, come to the stage. And I'm the vice chair, Chun Yan. And we also have Grace Chen, who's in charge of our program. And invite her to on the stage. And then we have Pomera as a 7th grade parent. So Jeanette has an 8th grader, and Grace has a 6th grader, Pomera has a 7th grader. She's in charge about T-shirt on the DVD sale, and please feel free if you want to donate to the DVD today. We also have Jennifer, who is also our volunteer to helping to recruit volunteer and also doing the banner design this year. We have a Samuel Chi and the photographer. He probably will stay there because he needs a picture. We have Victor, who is our videographer. Today we have all the equipment, sound systems. Thank you so much for both of them. We have Audrey, and please come join us. And we also have Patty, and this is our refreshment team. And let's have a good picture with our booster parent. Want to join us? Yes. Yeah, picture. Come on. Sorry, Samuel, you are the photographer. And then we of course introduce our director of the Huntington Middle School, Mr. Fawcett. Go to the middle. Go to the middle. Thank you so much, Samuel. Sorry, we're going to Photoshop you in, okay, after today. Now I'm going to invite Mr. Fawcett join me on the stage. We're going to do some quick going through about Huntington Middle School, then we can start a documentary. We went through this one, not rehearsed, but we know it's important for our school. Can you briefly introduce how many orchestra programs are Huntington Middle School right now?
Okay, we have 3 separate orchestra levels, and we have a beginning group that is composed almost of all beginners that never played before, at the beginning of the year at least. Then we have an intermediate level that is students that were in the beginning orchestra the prior year, consists of 7th and 8th graders. We actually have 3 separate classes for that. And then we have the chamber orchestra, which is audition only, and it consists of the most advanced students. Most of them, and I'll be honest here, most of them have taken private lessons, so I can't take all the credit for their ability on their instruments. But they're very, very committed, devoted to music and practicing their instrument. We meet at 7 o'clock each morning, so that kind of shows how dedicated they are too.
So roughly how many students in whole year with all 3 orchestra?
We have about 100.
Okay, wow. In Huntington Middle School, we have 100 students who are in the string program. And then how many concerts they get to do each orchestra?
There are 3 major concerts. It's funny, because beginning orchestra, I tell them we're going to be performing in front of an audience in December, and they don't believe me.
But then it always miracle happen, right?
They get there. And so we have that one. We have a spring concert and then a final concert. Those are the 3 major concerts. We also do other events. It varies from year to year, but those are the three big ones.
So how did the student progress from the beginner, intermediate, and what's the audition work for them?
Okay, so again, the chamber orchestra is the only audition group, and the level is very high in that group, again, because a lot of the kids have been taking private lessons for many years. What's unique about it is we can play original works. We've played Beethoven's Symphony, we've played works by Mendelssohn, Tchaikovsky, a number of very difficult works. So to audition for that, I would say about 10 kids per year get in from intermediate that started in beginning. And there's always 1 or 2 that make it only having played in the beginning orchestra. And I always try to be honest with those kids when they say, Mr. Folsom, can I audition for the chamber orchestra? And I learned from Dr. McGuigan to not do low expectations. That's not likely to happen. You know, it takes more than just a year. But this year I was so surprised. A girl came back. She told me, "I'm going to practice all summer. You'll see." And she sure did. And so she got in after just 1 year of playing cello.
Wow, impressed. So what's the purpose that? Why do you need parent support? If this is part of school program, why do you need parent support for what?
Well, the first 4 or 5 years that I taught orchestra, I didn't really reach out to parents much. And we had a good orchestra. We had I did everything. I made the programs. I did everything myself, and but not many people showed up to the concerts. It didn't really feel that special. And And there was a certain person who came to our school to teach choir. Some of you may know the name Howard Chung. And I'll never forget, I went to his first concert and I was completely blown away. I thought I was doing things well. And he just raised the bar. And so I learned a lot from Howard. I told him that too. And I started reaching out to parents. I was like, how do you get all this stuff to happen? And he was getting parent help. So I took his advice and I started reaching out to parents, and they were more than willing to help. And from then on, it just became a much better program. I think kids sensed it was something somewhat special, and people just wanted to join. And the numbers got bigger and bigger.
So the donations supported for different things, right? Some is the daily ongoing stuff.
Yes, parents have different jobs that they do. I mean, they allow me to basically just teach the kids, which really helps because it's easy to get tied down in all the other things besides teaching, and ultimately the kids don't get the same quality of teaching as a result. So the parents free me up to really just focus on working with the kids and getting them prepared for their performances.
So the sponsorship level today that I think you can get the form, the blue form that both Grace and Jennifer has. We have Chinese and English both sides, and that explains to you that what level, and we have program book. Most importantly, we know that when kids go to orchestra, they have things happen, such as a broken string, right? So you need a string in the orchestra room so they can play. And also all the kids get free t-shirt, right? So they can go to the concert. And you also bring the session coach, right?
Yeah, we have section coaches. Paul Stein just retired from the LA Philharmonic last week. So he was, the past 5 years, he's been limited to just working in the early mornings because he has late morning rehearsal. So he'll be helping out with the intermediate orchestras now. And what's great about him is he's a wonderful violinist and also a violist, so he can help our violas. I'm also, there's positions open right now for bass and cello coaches. My cello coach just works too much now as a cellist, and so he can't come in anymore. So constantly trying to improve things. But so money goes toward them. So many things. In prior years, we've had special guests come. Bruce Dukoff, who was the concertmaster of the Hollywood Bowl Orchestra, came a couple of times. On Martin Chalifra, who lives in town here, is concertmaster of the LA Philharmonic, came and gave master classes, and so many things, so many good things that the funds are going toward that make the program what it is.
And sometimes we go out and compete, right?
Yeah, we have a festival every year that all the kids go to. The Chamber Orchestra, we've been to New York 3 times, played at Carnegie Hall twice, and Lincoln Center once. And we also went to Washington, D.C. I'm proud to say, and again, I can't take all the credit for this, but I'll brag a little bit anyway for the kids. We've never received less than a gold rating and never received less than first place in any of the competitions we've been in. So, again, I can't take all the credit. But I'll tell you what I am especially proud of is the beginning orchestra each year, because they're not taking lessons, so it all comes back to me. And every year it seems to get, I don't know, I get better and better at it, I think, because, I don't know, maybe I started down here, but we're the only beginning group that participates in the festival that we go to each year. And last year we got a silver rating, and these are kids that have just played their instruments for 7 or 8 months by the time we hit the festival. And so they got an excellent rating, and they beat a number of groups, got higher scores than a number of groups that have been playing for several years. So that is really gratifying for me, because they're not all taking lessons like
They're taking lessons from you, basically.
They're taking lessons from me, so I get to take some of the credit for that. Yeah. So every year each of the groups goes on a festival.
So whenever they go competition, there's a cost, right? So parent support, but if the kids cannot go, where the money coming from?
It comes from donations. Sometimes we always like to have 100% participation, and if a kid wants to go, we don't want to say you can't go because you can't afford it. So we have a scholarship fund, and parents are always very, very honest, and they give what they can, and so we use that for.
So I know today is a documentary. Why do we have documentary? I think we don't think about we have documentary every year. This actually is very special, and the producer actually is here, who just arrived. I will have the honor to give to you to introduce him.
Yes, George and Ann Eichen are both. Stand up, please, you guys.
They are our producer of this documentary.
Yeah, I take absolutely no credit for this at all, beyond being there for when I was interviewed. When George told me he was going to make this, I thought, you know, what are you going to use your iPhone to film? He showed up with this big professional camera. And it just blew me away when I saw it for the first time, just way beyond what I expected. And it's something that I think everybody can learn from, what goes into a successful program, how much work goes on behind the scenes with parents, with administration. The orchestra, you'll hear this a little bit on the documentary, wouldn't exist if it weren't for Dr. McGuigan and his trip to, what was it, Pasadena School, I think, right?
Glendale.
Glendale, okay. And so he had enough faith in me to start it, and I'll never forget, I said, you know, I heard you want to start an orchestra program, and I said, I'd love to teach it. And he said, you could teach that? I was an English teacher at the time. Yeah, I was an English teacher. So I felt the pressure to have a good first year, and it went well, so.
So we're going to start, but before we start, I know we're going to turn off the light. We're going to start the documentary. It will take probably 15 minutes to finish. Just in case you want to purchase and watch at home, feel free to do that. We do have a DVD here. A donation is $35 or more. Feel free to. And we also have the CD played by Mr. Foster, which we listened to during the reception time. So it's also a donation to the Huntington Middle School. And another thing is that kids graduate, they move on to high school. And we wanted to still find a home of the music. So we hope Dr. Gay get the opportunity to see how talented our kids are in the middle school. And we want to continue education. We want to make sure parents have full support for our next step of the life before they move out of the San Marino community to go to college. So 4 years is very important of their life. So I think we have wonderful blossom year of 3 years. Now we want to see where they are after they go to high school. So that was one of the reasons why to make the connection and the bridge to invite the high school principal to be here. So once again, feel free to donate. You can get a DVD. We're going to turn off the light. You want to sneak out to watch the DVD at home, I'm totally fine. But we thanks again for wonderful producer here and thank you for all the parents. I'm going to turn off the light. We're going to start DVD. Give a round of applause to Mr. Wilson.
orchestra director here at Huntington Middle School. The size of the orchestra is changed over the years. The first year that I began teaching orchestra, we had 27 students. Today we have about, well, just over 100 students and 5 classes now. 3 separate orchestras. We have the beginning orchestra, the intermediate orchestra, and chamber orchestra. Thank you to Mr. Kurtenbach. We have 3 different sections of intermediate orchestra, which really helps the smaller class sizes to give them more attention. The difference in the sound compared to a few years back, when they were all in just one class, is really, really noticeable. 15. So the orchestra program now is really flourished, and we have over 100 students involved, and it's just great having that many kids. Our last concert was really incredible because we had all 100 and something on stage at one time playing a big grand piece together, and it was quite amazing. Being the conductor of that many, it was really an awesome experience. I have a love for music that I think the kids are aware of, and it shows, and at least I hope it shows. And there's nothing better than seeing a beginning orchestra student really develop a passion for music.
Let's give a round of applause, and I know it's very long. I do want to say that my son is one of the graduates, but my daughter is just started 6th grade. So for me, I had chill. I had goosebumps when I watched those kids. They went through 3-year graduated, and now they moved to high school. So let's give a round of applause to our wonderful middle school orchestra and wonderful Mr. Boston. And I really appreciate you bringing here, because without your one idea that we wouldn't have the orchestra ever. So thank you so much. Give a round of applause to the I know it's a long night and everybody is going, but I really appreciate. Thank you so much. And now is the time to celebrate for the wonderful night and enjoy the rest of the evening.